Once upon a time, there was a boy who worked harder than everybody else. He spent all of his days in the forest and the mountains to hone all of his skills. But when he finally came back to society, he came to the crushing realization that there was no way he could have worked on his social skills at the mountains or at the forest. And so whenever he was interacting with people, he was so nervous that he couldn't show them all what a badass he really was. Such is the tale of Metal Lee. Everyone leave Metal Lee alone. Wiggity wiggity what up? We're gonna do a soft review of the third episode of Boruto. I don't remember the subtitle of the show. Is it Naruto Next Generations or something? So this episode is primarily focused on introducing Metal Lee some more and kind of integrating him into the gang of boys, the boys. So Metal Lee is presumably the offspring of Rock Lee and some girl, unless Rock Lee just went to the mountains and forests one day and molded a boy out of metal or something. And he's pretty much kind of the spinning image of his dad. He's really athletic, he's taijutsu trained, specific ninja, but he has this personality quirk that Rock Lee didn't have. He gets nervous in front of people when there's a lot of attention on him. He also has different eyes. They're more slanty, kind of looks more like Bruce Lee in my opinion. And so yeah, we learned that he has this condition or this personality quirk, and the episode is pretty much devoted to kind of Boruto, Shikadai, and what the hell is that guy's name again? The child of Ino and Sai. They kind of integrate him into their crew by, you know, opening up or having him open up to them and telling him it's all right, dude, it's cool, it's cool. So there's only really two important things that I want to talk about or talk about in regard to this episode. Two things that I realized. The first one's relatively short. It's that I kind of realized why I think I'm gonna like this cast more than the cast of the original Naruto series. And that's because it's basically been split in half, because the original Naruto characters had children, and these children are the main characters of Boruto now, and basically cut them in half because you need two people to make a child, and they kind of just, these new characters are kind of just like basically fusion offspring of the original characters. Speaking of fusion, we're gonna throw in two more references to Dragon Ball right now. In the beginning of the episode and at the end too, Rock Lee has this kind of still image of his technique, and it has a dragon behind him, and it's drawn really similar to Shenron, which is pretty darn cool. Another thing was actually something that I was gonna mention in the last soft review, and that's that I just wanted to point out that I'm kind of digging this naming style in this new series, in which the characters have really obscure random names based off of like objects, Metal Lee, Boruto, and yeah, it just reminded me of Dragon Ball, naming characters Trunks and stuff like that. Back to what I was saying, yeah, it's kind of like an interpretation that you can take with this series, is that it's like this alternate universe where the characters are just fusions of the original characters. It makes things kind of more colorful and interesting, quite literally. With Ino and Sai's child, I thought a nice touch was that when he does the painting jutsu or whatever, Sai's little painting and summoning creatures, his ink that he uses can also be colored instead of just Sai's black and white traditional ink. So yeah, that was the quick little first point. Our second point is kind of more substantial and more narrative related. It's something that I probably should have mentioned in the first review of the first episode, and that is this whole kind of ongoing conflict they have with this thing that's possessing random characters and pretty much making all the conflicts in these episodes. Boruto basically makes the connection, or he's starting to make the connection, because he's seen it with his Byakugan a couple of times, or whatever he has that is kind of derived from the Byakugan, because it kind of looks different, turns his whole eye black and the pupil is just weird and looks different, there's no veiny anything or whatever. But yeah, in regard to that story point, I actually think that there's potential in that that thing I said in the past two reviews about how I would prefer this to stay as this pretty contained story, not too global scale conflict. They very well could do something in the same vein as Persona 4 or JoJo Part 4, in which the storyline is kind of just this happening in a city, which would be their village, their really cool setting of a village that I really dig, as expressed already. And it could just be kind of this like mystery thing where it's not so much the enemy as this really overpowered person, but he just has a certain power that he's using creatively to create a unique conflict. I don't think they're gonna go for that, but I'm just saying it would be cool if they did. Where they are going, I'm still not sure because they still haven't shown any indication that they're gonna start following the manga of this series, which at this point already introduced Sarada and Mitsuki, which are presumably going to be the two people in Boruto's kind of three-man squad or team or whatever. And so yeah, I think while we definitely could use a prominent female character at this point, I am admittedly really enjoying the boyish charm the show is still maintaining. I do kind of hope this can happen for at least the rest of this season, just like 12 episodes, and then if we want to move on to bigger things, I guess I'm okay with that. At least we would have had that season of just kind of lackadaisical, fun, easygoing adventures. Adding on to that, there are still a consistent amount of kind of sprinkling on of other random characters. I really dig the class president character. I don't even know her name because they all just call her Incho. I still don't know whose parents are hers. I think I may be able to find out if I looked up online, but I'm gonna keep myself in the dark. I like her character. She should become more prominent. I love Himawari, Boruto's sister, when she appears. She's adorable. Other than that, I don't think there were any other cameos that much too prominent except for the super senior dude who, he could leave anytime he wants. I'm not too fond of him. And so yeah, definitely still enjoying the ride. It's not the show to watch this season, but I am really digging how easy it is to watch. And to prove that, I will be back with episode 4, our soft review of episode 4. In the meantime, I gotta go practice my shuriken throwing skills. Has anyone seen my Fuma shuriken? I think I left it in my locker.